Hello, this is Duncan, and I decided that I want to do a very different video, a story time video. So this means there won't be any exciting visuals or my chat sprite at all, unless you count this footage of me working on an adult as exciting visuals. But this video is mostly meant to be played in the background while you work on something or while you yourself are drawing some art. But anyways, in this video, I'll be talking about my past experience as an adoptable artist. If you couldn't tell, I create and sell adoptables on platforms like Ko-Fi and DeviantArt, which is how I earn my money. If you're new to the art space, you might be wondering what adoptables actually are. Adoptables, or adopts, are pre-made original characters or fan characters that artists sell for currency. They are especially useful for people who don't draw but still want original characters for a project or personal use. On DeviantArt, there's a points system, so even if you don't have PayPal, you can use points to purchase an adopt. Those points can later be converted into PayPal money by the artist. I'm going to start with this first story when I was younger. I was selling some adoptables for like 5 to 10 points instead of normally selling them for 80 to 100 points. And I was selling 4 dog adopts, I think. I can't really remember. I think they were actually wolf adopts, but no idea. So one person ended up buying an adopt. I forgot their username, and to be honest, even if I did remember their username, I wouldn't have outed them, so I'll just call the person Cody. So Cody said they wanted to buy the wolf adopt, so I accept. Then another person replied to my comment, replying to Cody, and I'm just gonna call this guy Xavier. Pretty much they replied in I don't know, in a way that come off as rude and snarky to the user who wanted the OC. I don't remember word for word, but it was something like, I know this person wanted to buy this OC, but I actually want it, so I can give you 50 points for it. Now, Cody haven't paid for the OC yet, and me, who thought this was pretty shitty for Xavier to do, because you can't just butt in like that and basically try to steal someone's OC by offering more points than the original set price I had on the characters. This is not an auction or OTA. It's not even a name your price either. So likewise, I replied to Xavier with, I apologize, however, Cody already was first to claim the OC. However, if they don't pay for the character within this amount of time, then maybe you can claim them. But in the meantime, would you like a different OC? And instead of just moving on with their day or even choose a different character, for some reason, this angered Xavier. Xavier proceeded to demand that I give them the OC for 50 points, but I kept putting my foot down and calmly but firmly told this person that the OC couldn't be theirs because someone else wanted to claim it. Then Xavier said to me, oh, but you can just block the buyer before they pay for the OC, right? Likewise, I declined on doing that, and I then told Xavier that if he doesn't drop the subject and leave me alone, I'll report their account because they kept nagging to the point that it was pretty much becoming harassment, which is when Xavier proceeded to say, okay then, but you just lost 50 points, then blocked me before I could reply. And I didn't think of anything of it. I did end up getting the points from Cody and gave the OC. But the next day, I ended up receiving a note from someone showing me a journal against Xavier. And apparently, this was not their first stunt they pulled, one of which involving an auction where he would reply to someone with a higher bid, but block them. And when someone else replied to Xavier with a higher bid for a YCH, which stands for your character here, they'll reply to them again and block said person. So pretty much Xavier was trying to cheat an auction, but it didn't work in their favor because the bidder ended up contacting the original auction host about this and also by the YCH, which caused Xavier to have a tantrum. And the kicker is, Xavier was going to try and pay for the YCH in points, despite the person clearly stated in the description mentioned that no, they'll not accept points, only PayPal. So why the fuck would you bid in the auction if you know you can only do points in the first place? Now on to the next adopt story. This involves another user which I'll call Shax. So Shax wanted to buy a cat adopt I had up on DeviantArt, which again I was selling for very stupidly cheap for around 5 points. And so I told him, alright, please send the points to the gift register or donation pool. Thanks. And they didn't send the points or even reply to me. So I shrugged it off and thought that, oh, okay, they must be asleep or doing something else because it's daytime in Australia and it's probably late at fucking night in America. So I went on with my day. They didn't reply for a whole week. A whole freaking week. And since I had ADHD, I completely forgot about the adopts until I logged onto my account after school and went on my page to delete a few of my old art pieces. And that's when I saw my adoptables that I was trying to sell. The gears started turning in my head. I was like, oh shit, I still didn't receive the points yet. So likewise, I replied to the person again under the adopts to ask them what was going on. And they finally got back to me and replied with, I was trying to buy some points for the website store, but it wasn't working. And in my head I thought, okay, if you were having issues with the store, then why didn't you tell me in the first place? I could have put that OC on hold. And another thing, if you didn't have points on hand in the first place, then why did you ask to buy it or even ask if I could put it on hold? You know, questions like that. So I shrugged it off and asked the person to let me know when they are able to get the points. And they said they would. A week later, I replied to the user again to ask what is happening before offering to just put the adopt on hold. Shax told me they were still having problems and then proceeded to ask me if they could just have the OC for free, which I was going to reply to them no, but someone else replied to me pretty much saying, hey, Duncan, this person has a history of commenting on other people's adopts, asking to buy them but not actually paying for said adopts and using them anyways. And I had a look at their DeviantArt page and sure enough, Shax was using the user who alerted me's adopt as their OC for a comic. And again, Shax didn't pay for it. So long story short, I blocked them. And I think their account ended up being taken down too, either by themselves or by DeviantArt, because back then DeviantArt used to actually care about their artists way before AI slop took over. This is another story I have that honestly it still makes me cringe and laugh at looking back on it. So I had an ex-friend who I'll call She's. So before She's and I had a falling out, She's brought an adopt for I think around 5 points. No idea, there could be 5 points. But a week later we had a falling out and She's blocked me, which I just shrugged it off and didn't think anything of it. But the next day when I went to check on my DeviantArt page, I was getting spam comments and notes from some of She's friends and fans who were accusing me of scamming them, which got me really confused. So I had to go onto Chrome's incognito mode to see what was up. And sure it was, there was She's channel accusing me of stealing 5 points from the adopt paid for. And keep in mind, She's had saved said adopt on their computer, so therefore I didn't scam them. So likewise, I contacted She's via an alt account to try and talk things out, asking them either to take the channel off their page or at least get rid of the part where they claimed that I scammed them. But they refused and demanded that I pay back their 5 points. I of course tried to explain to She's that on my terms of service, I don't do refunds on adopts, only unfinished commissions or customs, not adopts. Then they said, oh, but we used to be friends, so why can't you just refund me? And I was like, yeah, we were friends. But even if you were still my friend, I wouldn't have refunded you. Again, if this was a unfinished custom, then yeah, I would have gave She's their 5 points back. But again, it was not. And the reason I thought looking back on this was cringe is because of the fact that this was over 5 points. 5 points is 5 cents or pennies or nickels. No idea. So I'm going to add this here. 100 points when converted to PayPal is $1. And 5 points, which you can't convert unfortunately, is 5 cents. Yeah, let that sink in. My ex-friend was getting upset over 5 cents. Or more accurately, 5 points. Now on to the last story that really ticked me off. So there was this person who I'll just call Muffin. Someone was doing MLP Next Gen customs or breathables. Basically, TLDR, a Next Gen is an offspring OC of 2 canon MLP characters. So, example like Pinkie Pie X Cheese Sandwich or even Fluttershy X Rainbow Dash. But this person wanted a rare pair or a crack ship, as some people call it, and that being Cheese Sandwich X Cream Chrysalis. Yeah, it's not just a rare pair, it's a fucking legendary pair, because holy shit, I never heard of someone who ships cheese with Chrysalis. But anyways, so I agree, and we move our conversations onto notes. Way before DeviantArt messages exist. They had already sent me the points, which was 50 points. Yeah, back then I was really underselling myself when it comes to adopts, especially custom. They also sent me the color palette they want me to use for the OC. Put a pin on that because I'll bring it up later. So I got to work. Now keep in mind, I make sure to share the work in progress image with the customer to get their feedback. And most of their messages was just them saying, yeah, that looks good, or looks great. And they seem to have no issue. I even tell them if there's a problem to please let me know, and they told me they would. Finally, I was finished with the custom and sent them the image through Stash. I didn't get a response. I shrugged it off thinking that they were probably busy with school or work, so I moved on with my day. And you won't believe this, but a fucking month later, this person came back and really let me have it. Pretty much they said they were disappointed with the OC, that they hated it as well as hated the colors I used for the custom, and even have the goal to tell me that they aren't going to buy from me again. Now, I was going to reply to them, pretty much explaining to the person that they literally gave me instructions of what they wanted, reminded them that I asked for feedback, and that they never said there was a problem, and finally point out that the user chose the color palette, not me. So pretty much it was a bros be like, this sub sucks, my brother in Christ, you made a sandwich sort of deal. But the person blocked me before I could even reply back. At least they didn't demand me for a refund, which I wouldn't give them the refund anyway because the custom was already finished. But yeah, those are some of my worst adopt artist experiences I had on me. If you're an artist watching this video, do you have bad commission or adopt experiences yourself? Please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
%100% pure fish.